أهلا بحضراتكم في الجزء الثاني من مراجعة الجزء العملي الخاص بمقرر علم الطفيليات باراسيتولوجي بكلية الصيدلة الجامعة الحديثة للتكنولوجيا والمعلومات MTI. Welcome doctors to the Parasitology Practical Course Revision Part 2 of Faculty of Pharmacy, Modern University for Technology and Information MTI. Now we are going to talk about the second class in the flatworms, which is class Cestoda. Class Cestoda or tapeworms ديدان الشريطية. Their body is segmented as we said before, which means that their body is divided into segments or is composed of segments, as we can see here: immature segment, mature segment, and gravid segment. Of course, the parts or the body parts of Cestoda are head or scolex. We call the head scolex. بنسمي دايما الهيد scolex. Neck, which is the generative organ. النك ده هو الأورجان اللي بيكون بقية جسم الدودة أو السيستود. The neck is the generative organ as it forms the rest of the body of the cystod. It forms the strobila. The strobila consists of three types of segments. The first type is the immature segment, which follows the neck region. After that, this immature segment becomes mature segment, meaning that it contains the male and female sex organs. And finally, the gravid segments. Gravid means pregnant. Gravid segments contain the uterus containing fertilized eggs. They have branched uterus containing fertilized eggs. يبقى احنا عندنا جسم السيستود او دي الدودة الشريطية بيكون من الراس بتاعتها اللي هي اسمها سكولكس والنك، وبعد كده الاماتيور سيجمنت تبقى لسه غير ناضجة. بعد النك ريجن على طول بعديها الماتيور سيجمنت تبقى خلاص بالغة، ففيها الميل والفيميل سكس اورجانز. طيب بعد الماتيور هتبقى جرافيد يعني حامل خلاص. طيب جرافيد سيجمنت يعني فيها ايه؟ حامل يعني فيها ايه؟ يعني فيها مش هيبقى فيها ميل وفيميل سكس اورجانز، لا هيبقى فيها بس ايه؟ برانشد يوترس هتبقى برانشد كده ومليانه فيرتلايزد ايجز. جميل. طبعا كلاس سيستودا خلاص بتبقى هيرمافرودايت. If we remember the general characters of class Cestoda are hermaphrodite, meaning that the same organism contains both male and female sex organs. Okay. In class Cestoda, we are going to study three types or three examples of parasites: Tinea species, Dipylidium caninum or Dipylidium caninum, and Echinococcus granulosus. Tinea species are divided into two species: Tinea saginata and Tinea solium. Okay. As we said before, we are going to start with the definitive or the final host. The definitive or the final host in case of Tinea species is man. In case of Dipylidium caninum or caninum, the definitive or the final host is dogs and occasionally man, sometimes man. أحيانا بيبقى الإنسان. In the case of Echinococcus granulosus, the definitive or the final host is dogs. Okay. Then the infective stage which infects the definitive host. Infective stage in case of Tinea species is Cysticercus. In case of Tinea saginata, the infective stage is called Cysticercus bovis. In case of the Tinea solium, the infective stage is Cysticercus cellulosa larva. This is the infective stage in case of Tinea species. In case of Dipylidium caninum or Dipylidium caninum, the infective stage is called Cysticercoid, not Cysticercus, Cysticercoid. In case of Echinococcus granulosus, the infective stage to man is eggs in feces. Okay, we said that the infective stage has two items related to it: a past item and a future item. The past item is where it came from. We mean the intermediate host. Okay, in case of the Tinea species, Cysticercus bovis larva, which is the infective stage of Tinea saginata, was formed inside cattle like cows, البقر والحيوانات دي. This is the intermediate host of Tinea saginata. But Cysticercus cellulosa larva was formed inside pigs, خنازير, which are the intermediate host of Tinea solium. Okay, in case of the Dipylidium caninum, the intermediate host is dog flea. Flea يعني برغوت, dog flea. The cysticercoid is formed inside dog flea. In case of the Echinococcus granulosus, okay, the eggs are found in feces. Eggs came from feces of the dogs, the definitive or final host. Here we should be careful and we should be attentive. This is the infective stage 2 man. In the Echinococcus granulosus, the definitive or final host is dogs, not man. Man is the intermediate host in this life cycle, in the life cycle of Echinococcus granulosus. So here we will talk about the infective stage 2 man, not infective stage 2 dogs. Okay, the infective stage 2 man is the eggs in feces of dogs. In this life cycle, the intermediate host are cattle or sheep or man, and if man was an intermediate host, then he will be an end stage. Why? Because dogs do not eat man. Dogs can eat cattle or sheep, but they will not eat man. So man in this case will be an end stage. يعني اللايف سايكل عشان تكمل بتاعت Echinococcus granulosus لازم الدوج اللي هو الديفينيتيف هوست ياكل اللحمة او الاورجنز بتاعت الكاتل او بتاعت الشيب. خلاص. طيب اللي هي بتبقى مرمية قدام المذابح مثلا والمجازر. جميل. تيجي كلاب الشوارع تروح واكله ليفر مثلا بتاع كاتل او بتاع شيب، والليفر ديت فيها الايه الهايديتد سيست. خلاص لو حد فاكر في اللايف سايكل الهايديتد سيست. ماشي. فايه ساعتها اللايف سايكل تكمل. بالنسبه للمان خلاص المان صحيح برضو الهايديتد سيست هتتكون في جسمه بس الدوج مش هياكله، فساعتها اللايف سايكل هتقف عند الانسان لو الانسان هو كان الانترميديت هوست ساعتها. طبعا الكاتل او الشيب او المان، cattle or sheep or man, these intermediate hosts get the infection by eating food contaminated with the dog feces, and these dog feces contain the eggs, so these intermediate hosts become infected. Okay, then the future of the infective stage, which is the mode of infection or mode of transmission. Okay, in case of Tinea species, the mode of infection or mode of transmission is eating insufficiently cooked or raw meat, whether the meat of cattle in case of Tinea saginata or the meat of pigs in case of Tinea solium, containing the infective stage, which is Cysticercus larva. We should mention the name of the infective stage in the case of mode of transmission or infection. Okay, in case of the Dipylidium caninum or caninum, the mode of infection or mode of transmission is ingestion of the dog flea containing the infective stage, which is cysticercoid. Okay, in case of Echinococcus granulosus, man is an intermediate host. He will get the infection by ingestion of eggs in dog feces. Also, cattle or sheep get the infection by ingestion of eggs in dog feces. Okay. The parasite enters the body of the definitive or final host and become adult in the habitat. The habitat is the location of the adult. The habitat in case of Tinea species is the small intestine of man. In case of Dipylidium caninum or caninum, it's also the small intestine of dogs, the definitive host, or occasionally man, because man sometimes becomes the definitive or final host. In case of Echinococcus granulosus, the habitat is the small intestine of dogs, because dogs are the definitive or final host. Okay, the name of the disease in case of Tinea, it's called Tineasis. In case of Dipylidium caninum or Dipylidium caninum, it's called the Dipylidium caninum infection or Dipylidium caninum infection. And in case of the Echinococcus granulosus, it's called hydatid disease. Hydatid disease. Why it is called hydatid disease? Due to the formation of the hydatid cyst. We will talk about them right now. Okay, the diagnosis or diagnostic stages. In case of Tinea species, after reaching the habitat and after reaching adulthood, sexual reproduction takes place, forming eggs. These eggs and the gravid segments come or go with the stools of man. So the diagnostic stage are eggs and gravid segments in stool. In case of Dipylidium caninum, the same case. The diagnostic stage are egg packet in a stool. Egg packet because the eggs are found together in the form of a packet. بتبقى الeggs مع بعضها في شكل مجموعة كده. In case of the Echinococcus granulosus, cattle, sheep or men, when they eat or when they ingest eggs in dog feces, something called hydatid cyst is formed inside their organs, mainly inside the liver or lungs. What is the hydatid cyst? Hydatid cyst is a cyst like a circle containing small Echinococcus granulosus, containing scoliosis and protoscoliosis. Scoliosis is the plural of scolex. scoliosis of Echinococcus granulosus. يعني الهايداتيد سيست ده عبارة عن كيس بيبقى مليان السكوليسيس اللي هي جمع سكولكس، يعني الهيدز بتاعت Echinococcus granulosus صغيرة كتير قوي 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 بتبقى موجودة جوه الهايداتيد سيست. يعني الهايداتيد سيست ده اللي هو بيبقى جواه الدودة دي وهي صغيرة. اوكي. The hydatid cyst is formed inside mainly inside the liver or lungs of the intermediate hosts, whether cattle, sheep or man. So we can diagnose man by identification of hydatid cyst by X-ray. That's why the disease of Echinococcus granulosus is called hydatid disease. The common names of Tinea saginata is beef tapeworm. Beef because the intermediate host of Tinea saginata is cattle. In case of Tinea sodium, the common name is pork tapeworm. Pork because the intermediate host of Tinea sodium is pigs. In case of the Dipylidium caninum or Dipylidium caninum, the common name is dog tapeworm. In case of the Echinococcus granulosus, the common name of the Echinococcus granulosus is hydatid tapeworm due to the formation of hydatid cyst in this case. Okay, now we are going to see the spots of class Cestoda. Spots of Cestoda. In case of Tinea species, we will see the scolex of Tinea saginata. The scolex, which is the head. The scolex of Tinea saginata is like this, like a square. بيبقى شكلها مربع كده, containing 4 suckers, like this. 4 suckers. with no hooks or no rostulum. يبقى الراس او السكولكس بتاعت التينيا ساجيناتا بتبقى شكلها مربع كده ويبقى عندها 4 سكرز وما عندهاش هوكس اللي هي خطافات او الرستلم. جميل. طيب يبقى بالمنظر ده. The gravid segment of Tinea species. The gravid segment, gravid means pregnant. Gravid segment is a segment containing the branched uterus filled with fertilized eggs. It's a segment like this, as we can see, containing branched uterus filled with fertilized eggs. قلنا هتبقى gravid segment عبارة عن segment في جواها branches كتيرة اللي هي اليوترس بتبقى branched كده والبرانشز ديت مليانة fertilized eggs. We should remember that the cestodes are very long worms. They reach meters in their length. That's why we cannot see an entire cestode under the microscope, but we can see segments of this worm under the microscope. يعني الديدان دي السودة ديت بتبقى ديدان طويلة جدا طولها بيبقى بالميترز فما بنقدرش نشوف دودة كاملة تحت الميكروسكوب. ممكن نشوف segments منها, نشوف السكولكس, we can see the scolex only, we can see the gravid segment only, and so on, the mature segment only. Okay, the egg of Tinea species is very characteristic. It's circular in shape, not oval. It's circular in shape, and it has double wall like the car tires. شبه كاوتش العربية. It looks like car tires. In case of the Echinococcus granulosus, this is the smallest cystode. دي أقصر دودة شريطية. We can see the entire worm under the microscope because its body consists of scolex, neck, one immature segment, one mature segment, and one gravid segment, and its gravid segment is very tall. The Echinococcus granulosus adult worm has this characteristic shape, and we see scolex from hydatid sand. Do you remember the Hydatid cyst? Number of scoleces, which is the plural of scolex. These are the scoleces of the Hydatid cyst. Okay. The scoleces have this irregular shape. بيبقى عندهم الشكل الغير منتظم ده. And we can see hooks in each scolex. We can see hooks. These part are the hooks. So this shape, which is not an egg, and containing these hooks, this is scolex from hydatid sand. What is hydatid sand? We call the scoleces which are inside the fluid of the hydatid cyst, we call them hydatid sand. يبقى الإيكينوكوكس جرانيولوزس بنشوف فيها الادلت وورم بتاعتها بتبقى هي السيستودا الوحيده، الدوده الشريطيه الوحيده اللي بنشوفها كامله تحت الميكروسكوب، عشان هي عندها 1 immature segment 1 mature segment 1 gravid segment، وعندها طبعا السكوليكس اكيد والنك. السكوليكس فروم هايديتد ساند ده عباره عن ايه؟ عباره عن السكوليسيس اللي هي الرؤوس الكتيره بتاعه الدوده وهي سابحه في الهايديتد فلويد. لما بتبقى سابحه في الهايديتد فلويد خلاص. ايه الهايديتد فلويد ده؟ الهايديتد فلويد اللي هو الفلويد اللي جوه الهايديتد سيست. لما السكوليسيس دي بتبقى سابحه جوه الهايديتد فلويد بنسميها ايه؟ هايديتد ساند. بنسمي السكوليسيس دي هايديتد ساند، فدي اسمها سكوليكس اوف هايديتد ساند. اوكي، so the scoliosis which are floating or which are inside the hydated fluid of the hydated cyst, we call them hydated sand. Okay, to make it more clear, the hydated cyst contains or is filled with hydated fluid. Inside this fluid there are scoliosis, many scoliosis which are swimming inside this hydated fluid. We call these scoliosis hydated sand. ده يعني السكوليسيس دي خلاص، الرؤوس الكتيرة دي لما بتسبح جوه الهايديتد فلويد بنسميها hydated sand, because these scoliosis are first attached to the inner layer of the hydated cyst. When they are not attached from the inner layer of the hydated cyst and they are swimming in the hydated fluid, we call them hydated sand. And this is the end of part 2 of parasitology course practical revision. كده دي نهاية الجزء الثاني من مراجعة الجزء العملي الخاص بمقرر مادة علم الطفيليات.